why don't you do personal training? And I was like, what?
Have you ever been asked for your credentials by a client or potential clients?
And basically I was demonstrating an exercise and I farted.
Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Fitbook Meets. This week, Fitbook meets Nathan Honess, personal trainer.
Hi, so I'm Nathan Honess. I'm based in Gateshead, Newcastle. I've lived up here now for, let's work this out, 14 years?
Oof.
Yeah, it's 14 years.
You get less for murder.
Yeah, 14 years. And it's really funny because whenever I go back to Portsmouth, where I'm originally from, they always go, oh, you haven't lost your accent yet. Oi, like that. So they always sort of take the mix.
Why are you, Nathan?
Yeah, and all that. So yeah, I've kind of kept my accent, which is funny. For 14 years I've been up here.
Question one, what made you want to become a PT?
Well, it was around about 2003. I was quite frustrated with what I was doing. I was conference and banqueting manager, which no one would think that now. So I was one down from general manager. And I was jogging to work, jogging back. I'd done a lot of sports at the time. And funny enough, the person I was with at the time, I was around this table and her sister said to me, why don't you do personal training? And I was like, what? I can't do that, that's just a hobby, isn't it? And she went, yeah, of course you can. I said, I'll go to London and I'll train with a trainer twice a week. You'd be really good at that. So I looked into it and I was quite passionate. I qualified pretty quick, and before you know it, I was training people, and eventually I got onto a cruise ship, which I'm not going to go too much into that story, but it was fantastic on the ship. But that's what led me to being up in the northeast.
I'll have to ask a couple of questions on that. So that was training people on the cruise ship, yeah?
That was actually training people on the cruise ship, yeah.
Okay, any choppy waters, you know, like
it's
in middle of session and people are falling down?
Yes, yeah. Well, at the time, my main service was Pilates.
Okay.
And the reason is because the average age was 73.
Right, okay.
So, whilst I was a trainer on the cruise ship, I can honestly say I had to be a very good salesperson.
Yeah.
Because as you can imagine, these are just on the ship to enjoy their holiday, and I had to convince them on the ship to, you know, be healthier. Mm-hmm. So, Pilates was a really good service, what I did. I did do one-to-ones on there, and also I tend to give them packages to help them from when they got off the cruise ship.
Okay. Well, that's a first on, the cruise ship one. I haven't heard that before. That's brilliant. What would you say is the hardest part you find about being a personal trainer?
I think the hardest part is, which I've had to accept, is a lot of people, some people, when you interview them, you really want to help them, but they're not quite ready.
Yeah.
And so I guess the hardest point is, how much can you help them at that point? And if they're not ready, then you've got to set them things to make them ready.
Yeah. And
obviously they'll come back to you when they're in the right place, because you can't control people. They've really got to be in the right place to want to change. So I find that's frustrating, but that's something what I've accepted, that you can't help everyone.
Yeah.
So,
I think that honesty though is what stands top PTs apart, really, because some people just take any client on and be happy enough to just let them do whatever they're happy doing as long as they're getting paid. So I think that's quite admirable, really.
Yeah, I've discovered what my clientele is, what I mainly like to help, and what I feel I've got the experience in, and that is, it's office workers. I've come from that background. I created strategies to be fit when I worked in office, and shift workers.
Yeah.
And it tends to be people who are really busy. They're entrepreneurial, some of them as well. They're really focused, but unfortunately, because they're so driven with their work or maybe with their family, they've lost drive within themselves. Yeah. So it's for me to help them get fit and healthy again.
Favourite body part to train for yourself personally, we'll say?
It's funny that it's changed. I'd say years ago, what was a big part of for me to develop and be a bit happy in my body, I'd say 18 years ago, would be when I slowly got into doing weights, and I worked more on the mirror muscles, you know, the chest, the shoulders and stuff like that. But over time it then changed to back exercises, and the reason is, when I learned how to do, there was something called kinetic chain, and that was all about patterns of movement and getting your body balanced. I've got really into training back more, and that was like a favourite of mine. And now it's gone into doing legs.
Yeah.
I always make sure every time I'm at the gym, either it's just one or two, I'll hit legs. And obviously I'll go out my way to do at least one solid leg session a week. So I actually enjoy the burn of doing leg day, funny enough. So
well, legs has surprisingly came up more often than I thought with when we've interviewed people. First time we've heard back, but that's mine as well, something I identified there. Have you ever been asked for your credentials by a client or potential clients?
No, I'm just trying to think if I have. I think I might have had a few of them wanting to see a bit more on my page or whatever, to have a look a bit further with maybe the testimonials.
Yeah.
Or, to be honest with you, they've probably asked me personally.
Yeah.
Well, who have you helped similar to me? Because they're quite interested about themselves.
Yeah.
And so they want to know whether I've helped someone like them before.
Of course.
But saying, obviously, can you give me this certificate or show me that one? No, they don't tend to really be that bothered about that.
Yeah, that's what I've been finding so far.
Yeah. What
would you say? It's probably a tough one, this, because I know you've had a lot of years doing this now. But proudest moment as a PT?
A proud moment for me has to be kind of a sideline to this, and that has to be when I've done fitness modelling.
Yeah.
And the reason why I found that I was quite proud, because I realised how inspirational that was to others.
Yeah.
And I think the wonderful thing is that people could see that I put a lot of work into it.
Of course.
And also they could see I was doing everything correctly. And I think that was a proud moment of mine. And I say always a proud moment is when I can see someone's journey from the start to the end. And you realise, I don't know if you've ever done personal training or sort of looked into the qualification side, but you do like a 12-week prediction of a programme.
Right, okay.
But only when you live that, it's totally different to that.
Yeah.
If only you had this perfect 12 weeks, you would achieve that.
Yeah.
But the reality is people go off the ball.
Yeah.
But sometimes it does happen where someone literally does everything what you've given them, and they get the result what you think they're going to get, and that is that
just
makes
totally
me really proud when it happens. Yeah,
followed everything to a T. Yeah, I'd imagine it is satisfying. Is there anything that you don't like about being a PT?
I wouldn't say dislike about it, but I think what's always hard to manage for myself is controlling the time.
Yeah.
You know, and again, I do that so well these days, due to the fact that my self-standard has gone up, that I know I need to look after myself.
So was that more an initial struggle that you've overcame, or?
100%, and you still fall into it still now. You have to reset, but obviously you do fall into that. You think you're healthy and fit, so you can work first thing in the morning and finish late at night.
Right.
But the reality is you have to take care of yourself. So if it has to be one, it would be that.
Excellent. Now, I think you mentioned something before, but maybe that's something you can either expand on, or there might be something else you've done. Have you ever competed in any sports or events?
No, again, it would be just purely the fitness modelling side.
So I suppose that's classed as it's an event, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a showcase.
So I can go into that. So I started that in 2013.
Yep.
Done my first show at Fitness Federation called Miami Pro, and that particular one I actually didn't get any place for, but I'd say that was the most rewarding because that proved that I could do it.
Yeah.
So that was the first show. Then I went into doing a show, UK BFF it was at the time. That was in Hayes in London, and I got top 5 for that. And then that's what springboarded me towards going towards others. But the one that I'm most proud of was with Pure Elite. Okay. And that is where basically I got first place out of 27 contestants. Nice. Beachbody. Nice. And the good thing, what I like about Beachbody is that you can clearly see they're healthy, they're fit, it's natural. And I can see the average person being inspired by it. That's what I like about that one. I went into the World Championship and I was being cheeky here, and what I've done is I messaged the director of that show, and I said, will you give me a wild card for fitness model category, because I believe I can do that. And he went, yeah, sure, I'll let you go into it. And at the time, what makes it even more important, it was over 35s. Right. So I wanted to do that category because I wanted the show be even more inspirational to my audience. And not only did I get a wild card for that, but I finished third in the World Championship, which I only got beaten by twins, and they look absolutely mint. So that was probably one of my proudest achievements with the fitness modelling.
Do you have a speciality as a PT?
My speciality is that it's changing habits, and it's about changing this. If you can't change that and you can't change your habits, you may get the result, but I'd feel I'd be a failure to you if I'll give you the result, but then you went off and went back to square one. So I like to change everyone. Small changes is more important than giving you everything at once, because over time, them little small changes is what's going to give them long-term results. And one little saying I like to say is, you get there steadily but definitely, not fast but won't last. So it's a little bit of a saying there.
Ah, excellent, excellent. Favourite cheat meal?
Favourite cheat meal?
Yeah.
Two. I have to say two here because
okay, we'll give you that.
I like a nice curry, and I do like my desserts. So if I had to choose a curry, it's called a chicken tikka masala desi.
Right.
I'm going to tell you the difference here because you may not know.
Yeah, no, I don't.
So, you know what chicken tikka masala is, don't
of course.
you? Well, this is that. Imagine chicken tikka masala, really tasty, isn't it? But it's without all the cream.
Right.
And also what they've done is added a bit of tang in it. And you may think, oh, that sounds interesting. But honestly, it's so much better.
Yeah, okay.
So I'd say that is
my favourite dish. Does that make it a bit hotter? Is that as well?
Yeah, it's a little bit spicy as well. It's more of a tomato base, which I know the normal one is, but that's got more cream in it.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not a fan of having cream in my
I'll bear that in mind.
Yeah, and dessert is a peanut stack.
Peanut stack?
Exactly, no one knows about it. Honestly, it's amazing.
Come on then, you can enlighten us on that as well.
So there's like light sponge, there's like caramel and chocolate in the middle, and there's like almost like a peanut wafer base, I'd say, somewhere there, and then it's got caramel sauce over it, loads of nuts. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and I was like, I think I'm going to order both of them. Like, it's me tea and dessert tonight.
Honestly, it's really nice.
Any funny stories, or let's say funniest stories as a personal trainer?
I have to say, I'm going to go to, I'd say, a funny, embarrassing story.
Right, okay.
Right. So I was quite nervous. I was teaching my first circuit class.
Yeah.
And basically I was demonstrating an exercise and I farted.
Get in, straight away. I suppose that sets everyone at ease.
Yeah, and everyone laughed and, oh, it was the floor, it wasn't me.
Yeah. It sets them at ease, not yourself. You're quite literally shitting yourself the rest of the show.
I was so embarrassed.
Okay, thanks everyone. This has been Fitbook Meets with Nathan Honess, personal trainer. Bye. See yous.